Hey there, just open up the SPSS file with where we want to do the dummy coding. And I also have this syntax window here on the right and an output window. And this is just a table that shows what each of the codes mean. So just to start, I created variables here that match this table down below here in Word. So when we're doing dummy coding, I'm pretty sure you already know, if there's 8 groups, you need 7 codes. So however many groups there are, there's 1 code less. So in our case, we have 7 codes, and I like to code them so that code 1 represents group 1 like this, like in this table. So basically there's no code for the reference group, and the reference group that we set up are the males, high competence, high warmth, and there's no code for them. So basically what that means is that all 7 codes are set to 0 when it's the male. Then when it's code 1, it represents this group. So when code 1 equals 1, you have the female prof, high competence, high warmth. And that continues. When code 2 is 1, you get this group, males, low competence, low warmth, and then there's a 1 for each particular group. So then in your analysis, when your code shows up, you know that that code is comparing to the reference group, which has no code. So if you have analysis with C1, then that means that's the result of comparing group 1 with the reference group. So we have our codes here, and I actually like to have this little annotation so that when I'm reading the analysis, I know what group it is. So I have an F or an M for female male prof. Then I have high competence, HC, or low competence, LC. And I have high warmth, HW, or low warmth. So again, I just like to do that because it makes reading the analysis easier for me. So in the syntax window over here, there's 2 lines for each code. So one of the lines sets the code to 1, and one of the lines sets the code to 0. So, and that's done 7 times for the 7 codes. So if you look at them, this corresponds to the values in our table down here. So this is code 1. So this is code 1, and so that means that prof gender is 1, prof competence 1, prof warmth is 1. You go over in the table, code 1 is 1. Now, the next line is code 1 is 0. So when is it 0? It's 0 for all these other conditions. And those conditions are basically the opposite of the first line. So it's 0 when the prof gender is male, or when the prof competence is 0, or when the prof warmth is 0. And that's when it's 0. And you basically just go through and you do that for each line in the table. So code 2, for example, this line, we have males, low competence, low warmth. And so that's set to 1 when prof gender is 0, prof competence is 0, prof warmth is 0. And then it's set to 0 for all the other cases. Prof gender is 1, prof competence 1, or. So if you notice, the second line here is basically the opposite of the first line with ors instead of and the numbers flipped in each line. Then you go through and you have your 7 codes. select your syntax, run that, and just look in your output window to make sure there's no errors. And go back to your data view to make sure that your codes are correct. So I just have the window split a bit so that I can see something funky happening with SPSS. Awesome. But you just basically go and verify that all your codes are set up correctly with your other variables, like your gender, competence, forms variables. And that should be it.